Hello there YouTube, this is Sibbles and Bits at it again, this time with Inkbound. Now I know a lot of you guys are probably looking here and you're like, this isn't Back for Blood and this isn't Arcanium. Why do I care about Inkbound? Well, Inkbound is now bear with me here, an arena tactical RPG roguelike by Shiny Shoe, who is the makers of a little game you may have heard of called Monster Train. You might now be thinking, okay, so why should I care about Inkbound? Well, I'd first have to legally disclose that I am not getting paid to talk about this game. Hashtag not an ad. I'm doing this of my own free will because I just absolutely want to see this game succeed. And I know that I really don't do that a lot, right? I only played like 2, maybe 3 games on the channel. Inkbound was originally in my top 5 most anticipated games for 2023 because it's honestly, like, even with that description before, you guys probably don't even know what the heck I'm talking about. It's a game that you can't even describe because there's nothing out there like it. So I was very interested in it. I got to play the pre-alpha technical test last week, and as soon as they took the ability to play it from me, I've just been in like cold sweats. I can't sleep, sort of. It's like a craving, right? It's like so addicting, and I want to play more. It is now my top 1 most anticipated game of 2023. That's right, it is above Hellcard. It is above Endless Dungeon. It is above Hades 2. I know, it's sacrilege. So, I'm going to try my best to describe this as I go, because up until this point, when they released the demo to the public, I was trying my best to edit a video that, like, carefully explained everything and how it was going, and I learned that either A, I'm absolutely trash at editing, or B, again, this game is hard to actually explain. So we're going to try our best to do that. So, in Inkbound, you and up to 3 of your friends are going through a run, because it's a roguelike, as one of, currently in the demo, we've got 3 classes. You've got the Magma Miner, which is sort of like your melee brawler. You got the Moss Cloak, which is your typical rogue, and you got the Weaver, which is an interesting style of mage. And each of these classes have a passive, and they have 3 starting abilities. If you've ever played Monster Train, this is like choosing your starting clan. We're going to go with Magma Miner because I'm going to have to talk and not do stupid things. I need to squeeze all 2 of my brain cells in order to explain what the heck is going on, most likely. And we're going to go into what's called a ranked dive. There's also unranked. And I just want to point out up front that although it says ranked, the first connotation that you're going to have is that there's some sort of competitive aspect to this game. As far as I know, there is none. This might become a daily challenge or something like that. I don't know what this 3rd rung is here. What ranked is in this game is your difficulty tier, right? Like you have Ascension and Slay the Spire, you've got Covenant ranks and Monster Train, even Arcanium has its like difficulty tiers, and that's basically what this is here. We're going to take forever to get into here. So, as you can see, I am ranked Bronze 2, and so non-boss enemies have plus 15% max health, and then this difficulty they added, the Blight deals additional damage. You don't even have to worry about that. I'm just doing it so that I can rank up. But you're immediately confronted with a run quest, and basically, like, this isn't necessarily that important. This just gets you a guaranteed legendary. So if you've ever played roguelikes before and you ever thought, like, okay, maybe if there was a way that I could get like a very good item, I might be able to like enjoy the game a little bit more, this is your ability to do that. And all these kind of suck for us, but we're just going to go ahead and choose this one because honestly it doesn't matter at this difficulty level. Hashtag rife for comedic timing. And we're going to get access to an ability. And so this is sort of where the monster train sort of comes in, or even like the roguelike. And you might notice that these look like cards, but what these are actually doing is their abilities. So it's honestly more like something like Divinity Original Sin 2, or even in a way, it's a lot like Risk of Rain, where you have these abilities that are on cooldown, and you're getting items that are going to scale them to the moon. It's just that this game is played in turns instead of like real time. And we're going to choose each of these biomes. Each biome has a certain set of enemies and a boss, but that's not necessarily important. So we're just going to choose the one that's going to do the least amount of collateral damage to us. And so what we're basically doing is we're going into Chapter 1. And in 3 chapters, we're going to fight the final boss, which is portrayed here. There's only one final boss in the demo. Now, that ability that I chose, at the end of every turn, enemies gain 1 stacking attack. You can notice that the other 3 chapters have these too. I'm taking that deficit for the entirety of the run, and in Chapter 2 I'm going to take another one, and in Chapter 3 I'm going to take a third one. There's little destructibles that you can click in order to get free money. It actually adds up to quite a bit, but you can also get healing and potions out of here. I'm probably getting a little bit ahead of myself. I'm going to go ahead and start out with a potion case just so that I can get this over with. So, you sort of have like your little overworld here, and honestly it's a bit of a line scroller, but where the meat and potatoes of the game is in these little arenas here. So this is a battle arena, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this middle node, and I can choose around the center to be, and what it's going to do is spawn enemies to attack me. So, hopefully the audio isn't too loud. I'm going to have to listen in on that and change it. If I miss that and the audio is too loud, please be sure to let me know down in the comments below. So, you can see down here, we have 4 what they call will, if you want to call it action points, energy, it's the same idea. And over here on the left, we have our health bar, which is currently 40 health, and this grayed out section is telling me that I'm going to lose an amount of health if I was to end turn here. And the reason that is you may notice underneath these enemies, they have like a little red indicator, meaning that I am in their attack range. I can hold Alt at any time to see their attack ranges to make sure that I am out of them. And now you can see that I am perfectly safe. If I ever wanted to move back and get my AP back, I just got to go back to that point, and that's perfectly fine. So, we now have 4 AP to do what we will. The only other thing to note is that these enemies, or this enemy, is going to try and heal everything, and it's on a delay. So it's going to heal the whole field. If I hover over this, you can see it goes even to the edge of this border here. Every 3 attacks I do, it's going to heal everything. And it even has a special elite mod that it just drops some goop there. And that's that blight damage. Generally speaking, it would do 3 damage if I was to perform an action in there. That's not going to become relevant here. So, I can go ahead, I can use all my AP for movement if I want. I'd prefer not to. Now, you can kind of notice it here. I have an amount of free movement that I can do before I actually use an AP. And if I press an ability, they have the quality of life that I am now stuck in that free movement area. And I can aim my shot, kind of like a skill shot in a MOBA, and make sure that I hit all these enemies. And now, as I have killed a certain amount of enemies, you'll notice these little bloblets here. Those are enemies coming in to reinforce on the next turn. So I'm just going to use a couple more abilities. So now I'm out of AP, and you might have noticed that we have this thing called a power orb on the field. Now what does a power orb do exactly? It gives us more will, and it reduces all cooldowns by 1. So if I was to pick this up, I'm now at 1 AP, and now my 6 cooldown poison vapor is now at 5. So it also passes all your cooldowns as if a turn is passed. And so I'm just going to bop this man one more time. Then I'm going to end my turn, and you're going to notice a couple of things. One, those enemies are going to spawn in. That one enemy died of poison. Don't worry about him. Another orb spawned. We get 1 orb per turn, naturally. And the outside of the arena has shrunk in on us. So over time, we're going to get into a bit of what I like to call an area debt, especially when you run into enemies that put AoEs on the field, maybe put all this gunk here that's going to get in the way as well. And so I have to deal with all that the longer I'm in the fight. It's a good way to have sort of an air quotes time limit on fights, but there is actually no real time limit on fights unless you're in like certain boss encounters. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to keep doing what we're doing. And after we finish this man here, the fight is over. And so that's your typical like combat loop. After every fight, we get a Font of Wisdom, which is basically random stat values. Now, similar to if you've ever played Last Spell, you have where each stat, and this is actually a very great example, each stat, it has a minimum rarity. And what you're actually doing is you're drawing different rarities and then the stats get applied to them. I don't know if that's the exact order of operations, but that's the idea. Because here we got Magic Power, which is 10% damage to all magic abilities, which we have, well, none. I mean, technically, Poison Vapor deals poison damage, which is magic, so that would help us there. Or we can get Ability Power. Ability Power is like Magic Power and one that we don't have here, Physical Power. I can actually, not here, here. Physical Power does the same thing as Magic Power, but for physical attacks, and Ability Power is just everything. So generally, it's better than those. But as you can see, I have to roll a green in order to get 1 Ability Power for 1 Magic Power. And then I can also take 2 max HP. We're going to take the Ability Power because, again, right, for comedic timing, it should not really matter. We picked up a Flask. These 2 slots here are for consumables. And flasks are a one-time use in combat. And we also get access to a vault because that's one of the rewards that we chose. And so we get to choose from these here. And I honestly, you know what? We're going to go counter assistance. And so we can have up to 7 of these vestiges, or if you call them from Slay the Spire, they'd be relics, and in Arcanium, they'd be artifacts. And over time, we're going to get better ones. We're going to swap these out. You can swap them with your friends if you've got ones that are better for them, and you're playing co-op. And so throughout the chapter, we're going to alternate between battles and choices. Choices, like this Ruined Shrine here, which we're going to go to first, is basically a Font of Wisdom. It's just more base stats. I actually like the idea of going burn damage. This is +2 damage to all of our burn. We have no access to that right now, but I'm feeling good about ending up in that because Magma Miner has a lot of abilities that go into that, and we'll get into that hopefully shortly. None of those, huh? This one has a vault as well, and a Quilling Cage. Quillings is basically just our currency. And so long as this fight isn't too wild, I want to kill this. This is basically like a loot goblin. You want to make sure that you kill it in 2 turns. And we've done that. And we're going to take 4 health from this, or 4 damage from this minion. I honestly do not care. 4 health is nothing. I can't help but feel like this is way too loud. Give me a second. Also, warning on the obviously work in progress UI. Okay, so I'm just going to keep playing through this and talking for a bit, if you guys do not mind that. So, you basically have an idea on what the game is. And you may already have noticed one of the things that I think is going to be one of the troubles for Inkbound. It's a little bit hard to describe this game to anybody, to get anybody to play it. Now, among my gaming group, and I was trying to get absolutely everybody to play this game, I initially described the game as, well, how I would try to get people into the game is by describing it with, have you played Quest 64 before? And almost everybody said no. Well, okay, so I am out of ideas. But otherwise, even saying that it is an arena-based, turn-based, tactical RPG roguelike still doesn't give you a general idea of what's going on here. And I think that's going to be a bit of a difficulty for Inkbound. I'm hoping not, but it probably will. So, what can I do about that? Well, I can shed light on it to people like you, and hopefully get you guys interested in Inkbound. What can you do about that? Well, you can go ahead... Oh my goodness! What the heck? Sorry. You know what? Maybe. Anyways, what can you guys do about that? Apologies. Well, you can go to inkboundgame.com, link will be down in the description, and you can sign up for the newsletter to be sure that if anything were to happen, like say early access launches, or if some sort of giveaway happens, that you're able to be notified of that. And you might be saying, well, Bits, I don't like people sending me newsletters. I'm absolutely with you. What else can you do? Well, you can go to Inkbound on Steam and download the technical demo. Or, yeah, technically the technical demo, because right now we're technically playing the pre-alpha technical demo, and later that'll get patched. At Steam Next Fest, which is February 6th, the game will get a balance and bug fix patch. It'll be the most complete version of the game, and you'll be able to download the demo then, and then you'll have, you know, a more solid game at that point. You might even say, oh, well, technically it's just a demo, and there's still going to be a bunch of bugs. I'm kind of still on the fence about it. Okay, well, you can also go to the Steam store page and wishlist it. By wishlisting it, you help the Steam algorithm favor Inkbound over other games. Like, I don't know, those games on your wish list that might be a little bit sketchy. And another thing that you can do to help Inkbound is you can go to Twitch streams that will probably be streaming this week and next week and just have concurrent viewership. I don't know how exactly those help Inkbound, but I was told that they do. So go ahead and watch a bunch of streams. There just might be a stream on, let's say, Sunday at 12 p.m. Central. You can stop by my stream. I will be streaming the game. Maybe download the demo. We might do a couple runs together, ask questions. Maybe that'll be nice. If all those things don't help, well, at least tell your friends about this interesting game so that they can look into it. The best thing for the game would be if you were to try out the technical demo, you like it, you wishlist it, you get your friends to wishlist it, and then that way when it releases, it's just a huge blowout. We'll go back to the game now, I promise. Now that we have magic damage, I'm almost feeling Silenced Metronome, because that even scales our artifacts. It's also going to scale our burn damage, so that's kind of why I was willing to do it. We've already taken Ruined Shrine, so we'll go ahead and describe a treasure trove. A treasure trove honestly just gives you coins, but if you happen to have a key from your previous choices, you can get a rare relic or a legendary relic. But let me just be straight up with you, Jade keys really don't drop, so... I mean, they drop, but I've only seen 3 in my entire time in the pre-alpha, so don't don't gamble on it. But anyways, these are harder battles, therefore they're going to give better rewards. You can see this is Tarnished Vault versus Superior Vault. This has an augment, so I'm more inclined to go here to show that off to you guys, because that's honestly one of the most exciting things about this game. Okay. This enemy is going to be a little bit of an annoyance. So one thing you might notice is that this guy has a delay attack. In 2 of my actions, he's going to attack. However, if I drop and deal damage to him, he was supposed to turn towards me. Maybe they changed that? I don't know. But, But the alternative to him having a delay attack is that he's not going to attack at the end of the turn. So I should just be able to bop this guy. Unfortunately, now we have... we had enemies spawning when we weren't able to perform actions and we wasted AP, so we would prefer not to have that. But here we are. I sort of done goofed there. I'm going to take damage from both of these guys. Guess how we're going to deal with this is not, because I didn't take a look at my cooldowns. Anyways, we're going to eat 3 damage because of reasons. Our poison damage doing work over there. Okay, so now we have an augment. And those of you who have played Monster Train have probably noticed that we're not doing anything absolutely ludicrous yet. Like, we got a couple of abilities here that do some things, right? But otherwise we haven't done anything crazy. Well, augments take our base abilities, or even the abilities that we have drafted, and enables us to boost them even further. So, for instance, we can discount our smash so that it only costs 1 will instead of 2, making it much easier for us to do other things with it. We can make the AoE of our poison vapor go even larger. A lot of these can be taken multiple times. Like widespread vapor can be taken 3 times if you want a poison AoE that's going to fill the whole screen. Or critical bonk can be taken 3 times. You want just plus 30% crit chance and then 150% bonus crit damage. I don't think that discounted smash. I think that one's exclusive, but I haven't proven that it isn't. But it's kind of hard to prove that it is, right? And if you absolutely wanted to, you could reroll for something else. So, we're going to take some critical bonks here simply because I have nothing else really to choose there. We got some more choices here. Carver's Refuge is basically just your shop. We can spend 100 coolings in order to heal for 10. And then we can also buy an amount of vestiges at the shop, as many as we have money. Binding Empowerment is where we're going to go because that has another exciting thing. But the garden will give us another one of our vestiges for free and other lore bits there. Basically, there's an NPC there. Every area has one of these, and it helps further along the story and quest lines and stuff like that. But we're going to go to Binding Empowerment because it's going to give us another augment. Oh wow, we just got one of those, right? So, yeah, we're going to take Discounted Smash this time, since we didn't last time. And that's good. And we're also going to spend 400 to Ascend a Binding. Generally, this only happens after you beat a boss. But we're spending extra money to make it happen now. So, what Ascending is that each ability has 3 different as far as Slay the Spires is concerned, ability pluses. And so not only can we get up to 3 of these little augments, you can see that we've used 1 out of 3 slots here, but we can also functionally turn it into a completely different skill. And so we can basically have it further our passive, deal basically 50% more damage, and gain an extra stack of heat, which is our ability that I didn't really go into. Every time that we do something that isn't not damaging an enemy, we gain a stack of heat, which is just plus 20% damage. Additive, not multiplicative, maximum of 5. And you lose all those stacks at the end of the turn. So if we get an extra stack of heat, then we can theoretically reach our top faster using thwack and then pay out with our smash, which is generally your bread and butter combo. Or we can go into this burn that I've been investing in and haven't done anything with. We're going to go with that one. However, that does make us lose 50% damage, but the 4 stacks of burn is more than going to make up for it. We just don't have it up front anymore. And so now we've gone through a battle of choice, and on the 5th node of the chapter, we're going to go ahead and fight a boss. And we're going to go ahead and just go right into that. This boss is honestly nothing special. Like for a beta, it's a pretty good boss, I suppose. They've got some mechanics, but at least at Bronze 1, I haven't felt a need to actually care about it. Probably should have done that in a different way there. But now we've got this guy poisoned and burning. And we're going to just utilize this free movement that we get in order to whack up this guy, get in range of this orb. And then he's going to attack the entire arena, so there's really nothing that we can do about that. I'm hoping that there's like a secret pixel where we don't get hit by this guy for 5. But it doesn't look like it. We're going to just have to bolt. Now, I don't want to pick this up because technically next turn these abilities are going to be off cooldown. We can wait on it, so we're going to go ahead and do that. And this fight actually is just functionally over. Again, like lower ranks, and here we go. Now this is interesting. We can increase the cost by 1, but if we actually kill somebody with it, we get the cooldown back. We get 1 will and the cooldown back. Or we can consume all stacks of burn for 30 damage each, and then when you kill a unit with detonate, also spreads around. The thing is that this does about like 180 damage normal, so we would have to have 6 stacks of burn in order for this to break even. But if we have more than that much burn, it's actually going to be a benefit to us. And if we somehow have a way to spread burn to multiple enemies, this is now basically an AoE. I'm honestly going to go for the Tantrum. And let's just try and get as much stacks of burn as we possibly can. Now, after every chapter, you have some NPCs here who might be trying to drop lore on you. You heal 10, and then you also get a fish. A fish is like a potion, except in only being a one-time use, it applies for an entire combat. Currently, the way I feel, the way that you would play the game is these fish get saved for the final boss fight, or a boss fight, because that's where you're going to get the most use out of it, because most other fights are going to generally end in 2 or so turns. Now, one thing that I'm going to take, being typical bits, is we're going to take Jinx, because Jinx only occurs when you deal magic damage to enemies, and we generally don't do that, except we do poison and burn, so we might be able to activate Jinx, and that could be a nice little off nuke for us. Again, just looking at these for whichever one's going to deal the least amount of collateral damage. I think this one's actually the least. Oh, dearie. Well, that at least gave us dread. Okay. That's given us dread too. Oh, because it switched it to magic. I understand now. That actually changes my perception of going for a magic build. That's actually quite good. Anyways, we're gonna have to figure out how to get our way out of this one. How much health do you have? 500? You do 300? Okay, we're really thinking here. Oh no. Oh, because I gave them DR. That was my bad. Well, now I'm going to take 18 for that. That's all entirely my fault. We're going to try and go with that. I guess we haven't taken a sea breach, so we might as well. So sea breaches are like your events in other games. So far there's only 5 of them, but they're all pretty impactful. And they're not really like a risk reward because you're clearly giving one thing for another. But it's more like a give and take. So like 150 quillings for a full heal? Sure, I'll go ahead and take that over my other options. Enemies are being mean to me. I completely forgot my bread and butter when I got in here. I was supposed to open with Tantrum. Anyways, we're here now. And a couple of hits should be able to... God, I'm just making a show of this, aren't I? I'll blame the camera as usual. Now that'll make him attack me. Oh, now I'm in a way. I pretty much have to take this damage because my movement ability is on cooldown. Alright. That really didn't kill. Yeah, I really scuffed that one up. You're currently physical. Making Jinx free would be interesting. Let's go for extracting Bonk though to actually create more orbs. We don't have a key, so Treasure Trove actually isn't good. Go to the hovel. Get a vestige for free. 25% chance to gain 1 will whenever an enemy dies. Seems pretty good. Marked actually is probably the best use for us here. What Marked does is guarantee a crit. So gaining more crit damage and guaranteeing a crit versus one enemy seems like it's kind of what we're going for here. If this augment gives us more damage on Tantrum, then we can actually start popping off. Yeah, sorry, Banter is going to go down a little bit since it seems like I've actually got to, like, again, rub my 2 brain cells together here. Okay, so you are going to get crit. We guarantee a crit the first time. What is our crit damage? Stop clicking that button. It is 75%. Yes, that is a crit chance. Let's go. So 75 means that we're doing approximately double damage. We should kill. We just barely missed. Son of a... We're fine, though. That's basically going to die here. The only thing that I basically want to look at is if we can get away with poison vapors. I don't think that we can because that'll make the cannon attack us. Cannon's dead from burn and all that stuff afterwards anyways. Furthest enemy is you. You're going to take not... You're going to take about 600 damage. And we want it to kill. So we should honestly pregame on you. And get absolutely nothing here. Okay, so we're going to take 11 damage. We're fine. Don't worry about me. He is now burrowed, takes 75% though, so he is no longer going to really be able to be damaged by us. So we'll just drop that and wait for the incoming enemy waves. Okay, I'm not going to screw around anymore. We're going to go ahead and take that. Oh, you're... How are you the one that's marked? You're further away. Weird. Well, it's dead. This is safe. This is the weirdest series of turns that I've ever had. Well, I think we're dead here. Unless I can come up with something crafty. Like the perfect pixel? I'll tell you what, if I'm going to take damage, I would much rather take damage here. I need to get out of this goop without using energy, and I don't think that's going to happen. Well. Embarrassingly enough, I think we're gonna live. The question is at what cost? Maybe we can't live. We're like just not close enough to get this bash off. And we really don't have a means of oof, that one hurts. We don't have enough health to be jumping into the goop. Well, remember when I told you that we were gonna be rife for comedic timing and end up dying? Looks like this is it. I'm just trying to think my way out of this one at this point. I think because we took Tantrum, well, not to say that that's why we lost. We just didn't set up correctly for it. We misplayed a lot of our turns. But, yeah, I don't think that there even really is a space that's safe for us. Well, we're gonna get bopped. Anyways, that's Inkbound. Just a couple more things that I need to talk about in full disclosure. So, you may have noticed that a lot of things popped up, things that looked like quests, and that is because, yes, there are quests here. There is quests to unlock different vestiges or artifacts in your runs. And so, this is a bit of what's in the meta progression. We currently have this many in the demo. Quite a bit. I would say that it's honestly got quite a bit more content than, well, it's different, but it's got more content than Monster Train, in my opinion. And we have all of these skills and abilities that also have augments in this game. I also didn't realize that they showed off the classes that aren't actually available here. That's interesting. I'll have to take a look at those later. All these consumables. There is, what, 8 different types of fish, if that's important to you. And another thing that I want to address, because it is kind of like an elephant in the room, is that there is seasons, and as such, there's also a battle pass. Let me see if I can't get to that button there. Is it this? Here it is. Okay, so yes, there is a battle pass. It's more similar to Deep Rock Galactic or early Path of Exile, where it's basically all just cosmetics, but there is a premium version. And in the battle pass, you will also earn something called shines, which is going to go into their MTX store. Personally, I'm perfectly fine with Inkbound having an MTX stuff available, so long as it isn't explicitly played to win. And if you want to look cool and spend some money and support the team, by all means do it, because that makes the game free for me. If they do a good enough job, I will definitely throw some money their way. I've certainly done the same for like Path of Exile and such in the past. I've bought their MTX packs when I felt like they've presented something that feels good. The other thing is, obviously, there's a season pass. Season 1 is coming soon. Shiny Shoe has said that they want to promote almost a live service game here. And so what they're going to do is they're planning about 2 to 3 times a year, so about almost exactly seasonal on the calendar. They're going to put out a big patch. Now, what exactly a big patch looks like for Inkbound, we currently don't know. The first couple are going to be interesting because that'll sort of like set what they feel is big, and then depending on the success of the game, could get even bigger than that. But they've stated like maybe a season is adding new biomes, maybe a season is adding new bosses, general balance stuff that you would expect, maybe more playable characters. As you probably saw back at that character select screen, there was definitely a lot more slots already filled in, almost in anticipation for more characters. Maybe it's just more general abilities. And so they're going to try and use that sort of like up season, down season tempo in order to keep updating the game, which, I mean, as somebody who waited like probably 6 months for the Monster Train DLC, seems pretty good to me that I would only have to wait somewhere around like, 4 to 3 months. And if all they're going to do is just, throw some shiny MTXs on the side to keep it going, keeps the game cheaper for me, and that's fine by me. Anyways, if I haven't lost you already, then again, down in the description below, sign up at inkboundgame.com for the month it's not a monthly newsletter, for the newsletter to get all up-to-date Inkbound news. Go to the Steam store page to either download the demo yourself, put it on your wish list so that you can find out from Steam when it actually launches into early access or full game, and you can go ahead and take a look at it then. Or, again, download that demo, take a look for yourself, see if you're actually excited with this. Is it fun with friends? Play a little bit with them. Anyways, I still somehow managed to get this video in an hour, but it's because I absolutely got myself slaughtered. Hopefully it was still enjoyable for you. Again, this Sunday, January 29th at 12 Central to whenever I decide to stop playing, I'm going to be streaming the game. So if you want, you can stop in, play a couple rounds with me, ask questions, just chill. And until next time, I'll catch you guys around.